Hey, how's it going everybody, Taco from Tuesday here, and today I'm bringing you another base build. So here's the base. A few basic facts: it costs roughly 26,000 stone, 9,000 metal frags, and 8,000 wood. While it is pretty cheap on the stone side, it also does cost a few components. So for the component cost, it's going to cost you 18 metal blades, 3 gears, and of course 4 rope. And I do realize that the metal blade cost is very high, but once you think about it, you don't have to have all your barricades on your base all at once. You can do it bit by bit, a few every day. And trust me, having the barricades is very helpful. Now let's start off with defenses. Now I think the number one obvious thing people will see when it comes to defenses with this base is the barricades. Now I don't know about you, but I don't really like when people are able to build on top of my roof. It scares me thinking that people have access to get on top of my base, so that's why I put the barricades up there, because it makes it nearly impossible for somebody to sit on top of my roof. So as you see, if somebody tries getting on top of the roof, obviously you already know what's going to happen here, they're just going to die. The next thing you might have noticed is the high walls. The high walls will add an extra layer of protection, as well as a mini courtyard. Since the high external stone walls are right below the catwalk, it'll be nearly impossible for the raider to get past the high walls without using explosives. Nearly impossible meaning unless you make a mistake like this, they're not going to be able to get through. And even if you do make a small mistake and they try building up, they're just going to end up being prickled to death. I guess what they could do is they could just jump through the spikes and keep syringing, which of course they'll eventually make it through, but they won't be able to get out because the high walls will prevent them from placing anything. I thought this would be pretty obvious, but I'm going to state it anyways, the ladders won't help you either. And lastly, we're going to talk about interior defense. So, I mentioned this in my last group base, but if you split off your loot evenly, it's going to be super hard to raid. So here's this base split in half. Imagine you stored all your loot right there. Like you didn't split off your loot and every single thing was in that one room. Now all the raider has to do to get all your loot is just blow through that spot right there. Now this base is conveniently set up to have 3 loot rooms, so if you split off all your loot through these 3 loot rooms, the raider will have to blow through all floors, so that makes this base 3 times harder to raid, instead of blowing through the one initial floor. Anyways, enough talk, let's show you guys the base. So here's the base. It has a lot of features, so let's check inside. Armored door right here, and right above that is a drop box. Basically, if you don't know what this does, you can pretty much access it, drop your item in there, and transfer it into the box. And the only way to access the items in the drop box is to be on the inside layer, so right here. As you see, we got a few shotgun turrets right here, that way if anybody goes deep, they're not going to survive very long. I highly recommend you have that doorway as sheet metal, that way if they do get inside, they won't be able to pickaxe their way out. Between the high walls and the physical base is a buffer layer for you guys to put any hemp plants that you desire. I already talked about it earlier, but basically nobody's going to be able to make it inside here. Second entrance right here, pretty helpful if somebody's camping your door. Another armored door right here, I highly recommend that you have 2 of your doors be armored. Into what technically is our second airlock, we have a ladder room, which links up to our top floor. A few doors linking to the center part of our base. Notice how the central foundation is missing, that way we can plant a few hemp plants as well as add a few hidden stashes. Off onto the left and right, we have a few cell gates which protect 4 boxes, but we'll get to that in a second. Anyhow, what I would do with our center is I'd probably plant a bunch of hemps and put 2 hidden stashes in the center. That way we can pick our hemp and we can put it in the small stashes, kinda like a convenient little storage. You can hide your hidden stashes by just holding E, or you can leave them out, it really doesn't matter. Now I did mention these chests off to the side. I would highly recommend that you store some of your resources down here, 50% of your resources on the top floor and 50% down here. That way it takes a significant amount more C4 to get all your loot. Right behind this last door right here is going to be our cupboard. So our cupboard's not directly in the center, it really doesn't matter where it is because they can build anyways. But let's head up this ladder hatch, shall we? Up here is going to be the most protected spot in the base because it's in the direct center of everything. Anyways, behind these 2 doors right here is going to be some bags, so you can put you and your friend up here, or you can have the ones upstairs, which we'll get to later. Coming with these bags is going to be 6 boxes, 3 on each side. So here you'd probably store some of your weapons, armor, and of course your meds and tools, and on the other side I'd recommend you store some of your main loot, half of it at least. Anyways, that's pretty much it for the main loot, so let's head back down and let's go up to our top floor. Here we are into our ladder room. I decided not to use an extra ladder hatch just to keep it cheap. Pretty simple to get through, just jump through the doorway. So there is technically supposed to be a box here, but I did have to make room so we can get through the door. This is a nice and open loot room, as you can tell, so it's got lots of storage in here, tons of storage here, and more over here, as well as a bed right here, 3 small furnaces right there, and another 3 small furnaces right over here. You can add more to this loot room, I just decided not to, just because it is technically for a small group / solo. If you're all about that compact life, then you can go ahead and try to do something with it, but until then we'll have to stay tuned for a base like that. And yeah, that's pretty much it for the base tour, guys, so why not show you guys how to build it? So here's the overall foundation plan. We're not going to work with all this at once, so what we're going to do is we're going to move every single foundation except for this trapezoid right here, which you'll see in a second. Right there. So this is going to be the starting point of the base. Have your foundations like this with like 3 triangles forming a trapezoid once again, and you're going to have it relatively low. You can have it touching the floor if you want, but it really doesn't matter, just make sure it's relatively low. Then you're going to place a doorway on the top of the trapezoid and walls on the rest. And you should end up with something like this. Now all you got to do is just fill in a roof, that way nobody can just build in, and then upgrade it to sheet metal or stone. Then put a sheet metal door or a wooden door depending on how many metal frags you have, as well as a code lock or a normal lock. From there, head inside, and what you're going to do is you're going to place your cupboard pretty much anywhere inside here. I usually put it on the corner right here, and then right next to that I'll put a furnace. Then you're going to place a large box right in front of your cupboard and small furnace, and of course a sleeping bag to the right. And of course get your furnace running so you can get some metal. Now if you want to add an extra furnace and an extra small box, I highly recommend it and it'll definitely help you. From there, you're going to head outside, place a normal square foundation right in front of your doorway, and then 2 more off to the side. On the left and right square, you're going to place a triangle right on top of it, and then you're going to upgrade everything to sheet metal, except for the central foundation. As you can see, you'll pretty much get something that looks like this. Pretty simple to see what we're going to do next. We're going to add 5 more triangles on the other side. Now we can go ahead and remove the central square right here because it has no purpose. And now that your foundations are done, you might as well just add your first layer of walling. Your single doorway is going to be 2 triangles from the center, so right here. And we could finish off our first layer by adding 3 more walls on this side. Our next step is to add an extra floor of walling, so we're just going to build a stair right here, and we're going to place our walls on our second floor. Solid walls, no doorways, nothing special. While we're here, let's add ourselves in a sheet metal door, right there, code lock as well. And now over here to the left of our starter, we're going to place a soft side wall, well, soft side facing us, and same thing over here. Same thing over here, except for we have to add our honeycomb. And then go ahead and place in your single doorways right here. And that's pretty much it for the first floor honeycomb. Next up, you're going to head over here, place U-shaped stairs to get up to your second floor, hop on top of your honeycomb, remove the stairs, and then you're going to place in some sheet metal floors. So to our right, you're going to place a square floor tile, upgraded to sheet metal, same thing for the left side. And in the center, you're going to place a sheet metal floor frame. This floor frame is where our ladder hatch is going to be, so you might as well just place it now. If you don't have the components, you can of course place it later. Ladder hatch down, there we go. Now you might as well just place a sheet metal door right here so nobody can get in here. And then we're going to head back up. And we're going to place another triangle floor tile right here. Wall off this triangle right here and upgrade it to stone, and do the same thing for the other side. Then to the left of this triangle, you're going to place 2 walls and upgrade them to stone. Same thing over here. Once placed and upgraded, you're going to turn around and do it for this side as well. And if I fly up, this is what you should have. Pretty simple, not too hard, you're pretty much just honeycombing. From the ladder hatch, you're going to face these squares right here, and you're going to place a 45-degree roof. If you have to jump, that's okay. From there, just upgrade it to sheet metal or stone. I recommend upgrading to sheet metal because it's harder to pick. Same thing on this side right here. Then you're going to place double doors or single doors. Up to you, I used single doors during the tour, so you may as well. Now before you put your doors on, I highly suggest that you put the sleeping bags down first, that way it's easier to place everything. Now you're going to place in your 6 boxes, which I'm going to speed through. Now, this is what your base should look like so far. Honeycombing, no flooring down just yet, but however you want to get up here, you're going to place in your sheet metal flooring. Make sure you leave a hole open for your ladder room. Now you're going to jump back down to your first floor, place in any sheet metal doors that you might have missed, head back into your central pod, and place in the resource boxes as well as the cell gates. Now just head back into your first airlock and place in some ladders, that way you can get up to your 3rd floor. Now set down a layer of solid stone walls. And then right above your ladder, you're going to place a single doorway as well as a single wall. Make sure the hard side of the walls face into the ladder room, that way nobody can just pick into your loot room. To the right of your loot room entrance, you're going to place another single doorway for your furnaces, and same thing for the other side. We're going to pretend this is another ladder hatch room, so we're just going to place walls right here. That way it can just act as honeycomb. Then on the central square, you're going to place 4 double door frames. Now on this wall frame right here, you're going to place a set of double doors. Same thing on the other side. Then you're going to place fence gates right here and right here. Then you're going to open up the fence gate and you're going to place 2 salvage shelves like so. From there, you're going to add the chest on top. From there, get beds out and place a bed on the top of this square. For this trapezoid right here, you're going to place a single box right here and another box right over here. And then down the middle, you're going to place another box. Low walls sticking through both boxes, and then you're going to place chests on top. From there, just do it to the other side. Now in this triangle pod right here, you're going to fit as many furnaces as possible. You should be able to fit 3. Just do the same thing for the other side. Now use the boxes to hop on top of your salvage shelves and then place in your sheet metal flooring. Now on each square, you're going to place a 45-degree roof, one there, and one right over here. Upgrade to stone, and then you're going to place walls on the middle square, upgrade that to stone as well, ceiling on top, and then another wall. Then from there, place in some barricades. Now what you're going to do is you're going to jump off your roof by jumping right there. You should take a little bit of damage, but that's okay as long as you have a few med kits. Then you're going to build up and place in your catwalk. Then place in some metal barricades. You want to use as little as possible because these guys cost blades. Now to make the front door, what you're going to do is you're going to place a square, upgrade it to sheet metal, then you're going to place a single doorway on top, upgrade it to stone or sheet metal, I recommend sheet metal, and then place a wall on top. Then do the same thing for the other side. And your last step is going to be pretty much placing in your high walls. So your high walls are going to be right below your catwalk. Make sure there's no gap so people can't just boost in. So anyways guys, thank you all so much for watching. Like and subscribe if you haven't already. And anyways guys, I'll catch you in the next one.